Hello. I say hello, not hello, but halo. Hey, hi, everybody. Social media fans being on whatsoever racist, but then not necessarily being on whatever walks of life, fashions of society, or lifestyle preferences. And being of the old and young, like both two sexual genders, representing not only the human species, but then nevertheless that being of the global community within this post 911 era of a new millennium apocalyptic day and age, and where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared on to our phone previous prior to then, with a recorded midnight for this rather biblically prophetic time. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to your family. And visitors for that matter, being a whatsoever racist and uh, whatever walk of life fashion in society, like our preferences compared to how my social media family cannot be whatsoever walks of life fashion in society, like our preferences. But then, as well as my social media family and be whatsoever racist and both two sexual genders representing that males and females, for that being the human species and a global community within the post 911 era of a new millennium apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock is at a couple few minutes to midnight, compared on how formally prior to then was a quarter midnight for the biblically prophetic time. Then, so likewise as well, I was saying, individuals to my own personal chat room and on channel can be whatsoever racist and uh, the old young alike, above two sexual genders, male and female, represent not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within the post 911 era of new millennium apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared on to our former previous prior to that, it was a quarter midnight for the biblically prophetic time. So how you all doing? Likewise as well, all saying. Well, hopefully everyone is feeling at least okay. If not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. If not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, no less than stressed, too blessed to probably become or be stressed. You and your family friends hope to be in mind likewise as well, or all saying. But then, regardless of whether or not that my person is speaking correct, proper standard English grammar, being the American dialect of some such quality and quantities or not, but then hopefully with that much less usages of explicit or profanity, much rather instead of with that much more cuss words. And therefore, hopefully, likewise, I will express myself with that much less of an opportunity or chance, however said, simply say, to be coming off like the worst of the worst sis. No, not the worst of the worst sis, but rather the lesser two you is what I meant to say, being the likes of a prodigal son, being the sheep that strayed away from the 99, being believe that has gone straight from the will of God. And that much more expresses oneself with human nature. Until one were to make amens compared to how the worst two you, what I meant to say. Now, I suppose to be of the likes of false brethren, of the supposed so-called holies and dows, of wolves and sheep clothing, snakes and grass, of those modern day religious Pharisees and or Sadducees, being a descendants of their ancestors, being whom are of the likes being of the worst of unbelievers and unbelievers, being of deceivers, pretend to be believers in God, as in Christian, aka Protestant, and therefore they themselves would likewise be considered as being of the worst of closet devil worshippers, being of whom make up the majority of most churchgoers or whatsoever religious denomination, from proof to the pulpits of members and visitors alike. But then, whatsoever I can speak upon, if any of you have, you know, have beef with it or take offense, please do not do so. You know, well, at least not to be coming off like some sort of such type of negative internet trolls. Because I say, for one thing, I will silence the likes of those, whom I mentioned last, I will silence their chat. And then, second of all, I will, like say, or how you say, ban, block, or bar them. Ban, block, or bar. I would ban, bar, block them. And very few people or persons of whom I block do I permit re-entry into my own personal chat room and on channel, because the majority of most, whom I block, they are blocked permanently. So if you get on my block list, hopefully be of the other than that, or vice versa. You know. Then now that they've gotten the basic intro as an introduction or preliminaries out of the way, then let me get to speaking upon some of such matters here and now. Begin with for whatever length, time, and so forth. Then you Asian persons, you should not hold it against me, whereas I'm not responsible for how your ancestors, if we're talking about for the continent of China or for the People's Republic of China, I'm not responsible for how your race of people did not have interactions with other races of peoples for something like 4 centuries, 400 years, So if you're mad then because you're kind of like having slow progress in any regard when it comes to interacting with different races, peoples, persons, then blame it on your ancestors, for the People's Republic of China. Otherwise, more of them should have been trying to think to cross the border so that they could engage in foreplay and sexual intercourse with as many different races of people or persons, as much as possible, that much more, to stimulate your own race's biological chromosomes, Otherwise, I'd be like saying, yeah, I'm available for any Asian born and raised female persons or woman, so that I myself can or could possibly, like a prodigal son playing the part of devil's advocate, do the wild thing, or do the nasty with, be they married or not, regardless of their economic or educational status, as long as they're beautiful and cute and develop, meaty, juicy, hairy, or beefy, succulent, and delectable, and where it's like a makeup for lost time of mine not having, sour my wild oats, and I can be busting cleaning nuts all up in them, especially doggy style and spread eagle style, but nevertheless with rubbers in play, no noxonol now, latex condoms, seeing how I would have it no other way, because I don't pay my water bill in the raw, no thank you, because I'm not wanting to absentmindedly sleep that one, then catch, that package of it, STD or BD, especially in times like this here, as it is. I don't want to call it the, corona faggot virus or the COVID-19 homo global pandemic, because that would be just as ridiculous to call it something of that nature, as well as, the former ex-president of the USA, who is now undergoing an impeachment process, at one time or another had called the coronavirus or COVID-19 that the corona Chinese virus, although he re-nicknamed it something else, which is less offensive, but it's offensive enough in his own right to almost be compared on to that other that he originally called it, which is much more offensive. And now, whereas after having renamed it to give it a label of one that is less offensive, as he calls it, the Corona China virus, but then nevertheless, it is still offensive in its own right. Okay. So whenever you get back to some of such other, so whenever you like right, Asian woman or any races of women, especially your Asian woman, want to get together with me, and maybe we could do something, with the exception of me myself being that my person to be confused with one of those closet male sexual predator, animal monster characters. God forbid, because I ain't going out like that. Although at one time or another, you know, I had almost come just ever so close to attempting to, you know, really scope, stalk, and then vamp upon, few different races of women who could possibly have been, different walks of life, factions of society, lifestyle preference for that matter. As in, I had come so close to coming off like a former ex-president, DC, or president of the USA, being Mr. President, Mr. Former ex-president Bill Bobcat Snatch the Panties Clinton is who I am making reference to, not Mr. Impeach President DC President Donald, Piehole Groper J. Trump. Getting back to some such other, So if and when you Asian woman want to, try me out for size, let me know if and when at some given time or another I could possibly feel more like, less to you been a prodigal son playing the part of the devil's advocate in that same line of thought in the intimate, sensual, sexual way of some such that is of a physical nature. Then I'm going to speed down the closing of this here, and this is probably like a kind of like a goofy kind of video broadcast or whatever you want to call it. Okay. But then, nevertheless, I'm going to just paraphrase my quote exactly as I would be like saying in more words less. If you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I would hope that you would think to do so now while the blood is still running warm in your vein. By recognizing or realizing what He Himself had done, found across Calvary and Hill of Go, suffering at the hands of some such Roman soldiers up under orders of their religion and whatever other sorts of types of superiors, where He give His life upon the cross of Calvary to fulfill biblical prophecy as He had suffered at the hands of some such others, so that He can become that perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. So if any of us being of whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, fashion, and society, lifestyle preferences, being of the old, young, like both two sexual genders, the males and females represent not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post 911 era of a new millennium apocalyptic day and age, and where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared on our former periods prior to then was a quarter midnight, but He's rather biblically prophetic time. Would profess some such faith in Him from there. First of all, we will be blessed with His salvation being which is the only means by which we can avoid the lake of fire, damn hell. And second of all, we will be blessed while we're down here with His deliverance. But first, we have got to get His most important blessing, being of salvation. Otherwise, you have nothing coming. And your final destination will be the lake of fire, or damn hell, with the rest of the unsaved, unbelievers, and unbelievers, compared to our believers. And God will be citizens of the kingdom of heaven. Whereas they would be with the devil, and then we would be with God and His angels. Y'all take care. Peace.